All right, so it's recording. Awesome stuff. Hello, and welcome to the Strategic Success System Masterclass. And maybe let me just share on why I believe this masterclass is very important for us. It's because as young professionals, the truth is we're juggling so many things. There is work. For some young professionals, it's school. We also want to have social lives. There's just really a lot that we have to juggle. And I really believe that I think a lot of the times we're not achieving success because we are setting goals and not putting in place systems. So what this masterclass is going to do for us is to really take those goals and prioritize them. So give them the attention, the energy, the time, the resources, everything that they need for us to actually achieve them. So we're going to put systems behind our goals and put ourselves at a higher percentage or higher probability of achieving them. All right. And the reason why I also believe that this masterclass is important for this particular program, or before we get into the program, Purpose to Profession, is because it is going to take a lot of your time, well, not a lot of your time, but it is going to be something else that you need to prioritize with work, with home life, and with everything else. So it will help to just know that this particular program is part of your system, and everything that you do, or attending these classes and doing the work, isn't just an afterthought, but it is part of a system that you've put together for yourself to achieve this goal, that is discovering your purpose and then turning it into a profession that you will love and have an impact in. Okay. So maybe just a couple of things that we are going to cover is we're going to discuss some definitions. And I think it's important to have these definitions out of the way so we all have a clear understanding of what we're talking about and what it means for the context of the Strategic Success System Masterclass, or the process altogether. And then I'll give you some coaching guidelines, because as I mentioned some time back, I actually do have some training as a coach. So I'll give you some coaching guidelines that you can use for yourself, actually, to just reframe your mind whenever you start to feel off kilter, off balance. You can always use these guidelines to put you back on track and to monitor your own success or your own progress. And then we're going to now take your life in focus. We're going to narrow down the different things that go into your system so we can prioritize them and strategize around them. And then we'll set your goals, which will actually be a fun exercise for us to do. You will set your goals, and then from those goals, design your unique system. Okay. So I do this as a formality so that if people actually buy or invest in the masterclass and they don't really know about me that well, they actually know who I am. So I am Bumike Mbonani. Also, it's good to refresh your memory on who I am. And I am a purpose alignment strategist. And what this means is that I help young professionals who feel stuck in careers they settled for and jobs they quite frankly hate to discover their purpose and turn that purpose into a fulfilling, impactful, and sustainable profession. So I work actually as a strategist within Purpose Practitioners Club, which is essentially a training and development firm that seeks to take or to transform young professionals into being mere young professionals, into being practitioners of their purpose. So it's really an organization of like-minded young professionals who aren't just satisfied with working to pay the bills, but want to be fulfilled and to find joy in their work, but also to make an impact, to create an impact in this world, but also have a sustainable living. Cool. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to settle some definitions so we are all on the same wavelength and we know what is being spoken about. So what do we mean when we talk about success? Success is essentially the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. So when we say that we have accomplished success or we have attained success in a particular field, we basically mean there was an aim and we accomplished it. There was a purpose and we accomplished it. And obviously, in the broader scheme of things, we would have achieved success at the end of our time together, at the end of purpose to profession, if the aim or the purpose that we had set together has been accomplished. And that is, you know your purpose and you've turned it into a profession. But for the sake of this particular masterclass, success would mean we have set out the goal, which is to design a system for you, and we will know that we have achieved that if that aim is done by the end of this masterclass. So when we think about success, we are really thinking we have a purpose in mind, we have an aim set, and achieving that particular aim is what we are after. And then secondly, when we talk about strategy, what is strategy? And strategy basically is a detailed plan for achieving success in situations such as war, politics, business, industry, or sports, or the skill of planning for such situations. So we have two things here. It's a detailed plan for achieving the success we spoke about at the top, and it is the skill of planning for whatever situation or for whatever success we aim to achieve. So at the top, we have an aim or a purpose, and then we have a strategy, which is basically a detailed plan to help us reach that strategy. And then we move to system. What do we mean by system? A system basically is a set of detailed methods, procedures, and routines created to carry out a specific activity, perform a duty, or solve a problem. So not only are we going to have a plan, but we are going to have methods, procedures, and routines that we are going to actively do that are going to help us attain the success that we have set out. Also, when you talk about a system, it is an organized, purposeful structure that consists of interrelated and interdependent elements. And here's what I love about this particular definition, that we are not going to chase our financial goals and forsake our health and fitness, or we're not going to be great in family but poor in our professions. So the reason we're setting up a system is because we want to have an interrelatedness and an interdependency on all the particular areas of our lives that we are going to bring in focus, so that the one doesn't falter at the as the other one succeeds. So we are going to find a balance, and I know some people hate that word balance, but essentially we are going to find or create a system that allows for each of these areas of our lives to be interwoven, so that all of them gets the attention and the priority that they need. So before I continue, I just want to hear if everyone is still on track, if I'm not missing anyone, but that everyone is actually understanding exactly what it is that I'm saying. So I'll pop into the chat quickly just so that I can see. Show me a thumbs up or simply say yes. I just want to see that everyone is following and we are all still good. So please just indicate to me. Are you good? I will know to continue once you let me know if you are still tracking. All right, Joyce says she's still good. Annika is great as well. Cool stuff. Cool beans. Let us move on. Alrighty, so here are some coaching guidelines for you. When we get into this masterclass and as we design the system, I want you to think of these, how many questions? 2, 4, 6, 7. And as you design the system, these are really the guidelines or the principles that will help you to create the system. Firstly, I want you to answer this question. What is most important to you in life? What is most important to you? And the reason I'm asking this question is because we want for you to design a system that is centered around things that matter to you. And this is a great filter because as you think about this, you'll realize that some things you may be involved in, you may be doing, but really they aren't important because they don't help you attain the aim or the purpose that you set out from the very beginning. So what is most important to you in life? Write that question down and answer it maybe later or as we go along. Number 2, what will you be most proud of? And I love this particular question because at the end of the system, I want you to say, I will be proud of myself, or I will be proud of the work that I have done, or I'll be proud at the end of 12 months or at the end of 3 months, or whatever your measure will be. I will be proud of myself if these particular areas are taken care of, or if these particular things are done. So think about what will give you the most pride if it is done and if you have carried it out successfully. The third question is, when was the last time you woke up feeling optimistic and excited about the day ahead? And the reason I'm asking this particular question is because I want you, as you design your system, to put things in there that are going to make you feel optimistic, that are going to excite you for the day ahead. I don't want you at the end of the day to feel like, oh my goodness, or even as you look at your system to feel like, this is so boring. I want you to design a system that is going to be fun for you, that is going to be enjoyable for you. Also, design a system or put things within your system that are going to make you feel optimistic, not things that are going to drain you, things that are going to make you feel excited, not things that are going to sap out your energy. And the truth is, not everything that we do every day is going to excite us. Some things we have to do out of it being an obligation or a chore, such as I don't like doing domestic work, but for the sake of having an operational house, I have to do them. I'm not talking about those particular things that you have to do for functionality's sake, but think about things, or think about a particular day, or an ideal day for you, what an ideal day looks like for you, that'll help you be excited for the day ahead and be optimistic. The next question is, where would you be if all obstacles in your way ceased to exist? And here's the power of coaching. The power of coaching is in that it helps you explore avenues that you wouldn't otherwise explore on your own. It's really a tool to help you create links or see the bigger picture when you in your own capacity would just see the tiny bit that your head is focused on and that you are stuck on. So when I ask, what would you do if all obstacles in your way cease to exist? I'm basically saying, dream again, believe again, hope again. What is it that you really seek to achieve? If all obstacles were out of the way, what is the one thing you would want to do? If nothing could stand in your way, what are the things that would matter to you, and what are the things that you would charge at relentlessly? And then another question I want you to answer is, where would you be if you had unlimited resources? And this is great because when you think about where you would be, limited resources, suddenly your mind computes that there is a possibility for that to happen. And what happens is that somehow you start seeing opportunities or these resources that can help you get to where you want to go. And I'll give you an example. Have you noticed that when you start talking about a certain car, when you're like, oh, you know what, if I could get a Mercedes Benz, an A3, my life would be so happy, I'd be so proud of myself. And then suddenly, as you drive, you start seeing these Mercedes Benz, you start seeing these A3s everywhere. It's because your mind has brought to your consciousness whatever it is that you wanted to achieve. Or have you ever noticed that you will think about something or say something to yourself, and then suddenly somebody approaches you and says, hey, I've been thinking about this, or did you hear that? And suddenly you have these opportunities or these resources to actually get to what you were thinking and talking about. So when I ask the question, where would you be if you had unlimited resources, I'm basically saying, bring to your consciousness what you actually want to achieve, because it opens up resources and it opens up avenues for you to see ways to accomplish it. So think about where you would want to be. Then the next question is, where do you fear ending up if nothing changes? And this is a critical question. The reason why we are having this masterclass, because if you don't set up a system, or if you don't change the way you've been doing things, you might end up where you fear to end up. And also, the reason why I am forcing you to answer this question is because I want you every day, when you don't carry out what you need to carry out, and when you don't do what you know you're supposed to do, to look at this writing or to look at your answer and say, I will end up here if nothing changes. I will end up here if I don't do what I set out to do. So it should act as like the boogeyman trying to scare you every time you want to sabotage yourself. But really also just think about, where do you fear ending up? What don't you want? Because sometimes we start to know what it is that we want when we start to verbalize what we don't want. Sometimes people don't know what they want, but they can tell you 100% what it is they don't want. So what do you not want to see happening, or where do you not want to end up? That should give you the motive or the drive to actually carry out your system and to do well for yourself. Oh, sorry. And then the last question that I want us to answer is there anything you believe in so strongly you would be willing to sacrifice for it? And why I love this question is because when we set up the system, it is going to require our discipline. I'm telling you, if working out is something you want to do, or you want to juggle business and work, or whatever it is you want to do, the truth of the matter is that it's going to take a sacrifice. It's going to take discipline. So I want you to say, what is it, if there's anything that you believe in so strongly that you would be willing to sacrifice for? And I guess that goes back to question number 1 and 2. What is important to you? What matters to you? Because if it matters, then sacrifice, it won't even feel like a sacrifice, but it'll feel like something you have to do and you want to do because of where you want to go. All right. So I hope those coaching guidelines help you as we move along. All right, so now let's look at your life in focus. There are 6 particular areas or categories of our lives that are important to us. And they are your personal life, your professional life, your spiritual life, your financial life, your relationships, and your health and your fitness. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write at least 1 or 2 goals, or maybe 1 in each of these 6 categories. What do you want to achieve, or what is your goal for your personal life? The one important thing, and the reason we went through that filter is because your personal life consists of so much. You probably want to start a family, or you want to renovate your home, whatever it is in your personal life. I want you to just think of that one important thing, or one thing that you believe so strongly about, or for the next 12 months, the one thing you want to focus on. And whether your measure is 3 months or 6 months or 4 months or the entire 12 months, for your personal life, what is that one big goal? For your professional life, what is that one big goal? And for your professional life, it could actually be purpose to profession, because that is what we're trying to get to. I can imagine you're trying to pivot your career, and so the one big thing for your professional life could be, I just want to find my purpose and then turn that purpose into a profession. You can put that in there. And for your spiritual life, your goal can be, I actually don't pray as much as I want to, so I want to build a strong prayer life. That is also fantastic. Just one goal for your spiritual life that will, you guys, or do you know the concept of a domino? And the domino is basically that one black block that if you let that one fall, it will ripple into everything else. So all those other black blocks will fall because of the one that has tipped the scale. So you don't want to tip the one at the end or the one closest to the end. If you want all of them to fall, you want to tip the one in the beginning, or the one that will have the most impact. And that's what we're basically talking about. What is your domino goal? That if you got that particular thing right, it would solve for everything else in that particular category. Then your financial life. Do you want to save 6 months worth of your salary, or do you want to actually buy a car, or whatever it is? And for your relationships, if you're not involved, do you want to get yourself a boo, whatever your relationships look like, or you really just want to resolve a conflict that you've had with your aunt or your grandmother for the longest time, or you just want to be a good friend? Whatever it is for your relationships, what is that one big goal? in for your health and your fitness. I know for me personally, I want to have abs, okay? I want to have tight abs and a firm, perky, big, round butt. If that is explicit for some, I'm sorry. But those are my goals. For my fitness, I really just want to have flat abs and I want to have a perky butt. Those are my fitness goals. So what could be your fitness goals? Do you want to just lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? Or do you want to jog every day? Or do you actually want to run the marathon at some point? Whatever your one domino goal is, put that in there. So now you've got 6 goals and it looks like, oh my goodness, this is way too much for me. I need to prioritize a few of these so that I can actually move on and be effective. And I agree with you. Now, from these 6 goals that you've put together, I want you to choose your top 3. And I want you to use the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle says 80% of the output comes from 20% of the inputs. Put another way, 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. And I'm pretty sure you've heard that 80% of the wealth in a population is as a result of the 20% of the population. And you can see it even in your own closet or your own wardrobe. You wear 20% of your outfits 80% of the time. They're just those outfits that you don't mind repeating over and over and over again. So this rule is very important in that it actually helps us to prioritize. So think about what your 20% can be that will give you 80% of the results. So look at these three 6 goals that you put together and say, which of these 3, if I got right, would enable me to get the most value out of my system or the most benefits for my system for the next 12 months. So essentially the system works best if we put it over a 12-month period. But within that 12-month, we can break things down between quarters or half years or whatever. But really just look at your 6 goals and say, which are the top 3 that will constitute my 20% effort that will give me 80% of the results? I want you to think about that. Okay, so now at this point, I want us to take a break and I want to hear from you how this exercise is going. So how are you faring in this? And if you don't mind, please just share some of your goals with me so I can tell you if they're specific enough or they still need some stretching. Because sometimes we're just like, yo, I want to be healthy. That's not specific enough. What does health really mean? Does health mean you want to have a vegetarian or a vegan diet for 5 days out of 7 days? Does health for you mean you want to eat less calories and more protein? Does health for you mean that you want to lose 20 kilograms of weight? What does it really look like? So share some of your goals with me and let me help you decide if they are specific enough, and I'll also interrogate if you believe they will achieve the Pareto principle for you. And if you like, so Annika's saying for health, I want to lose weight and have abs. Now, I want you to further specify what that lose weight is. Do you have a measure in mind? Do you have a particular kilogram weight that you want to lose? How much weight do you want to lose? Because you need to be very specific, because at every point of our system we are going to have checkers and markers. So if you say just lose weight, then at least 10 kg or some stuff, that's fine. Let me hear for your other particular areas as well. What are your goals? What are your goals? Joy, you are awfully quiet. I'd love to hear from you. What are some of your other goals? And I don't even mind unmuting you so that you can share with me I'm struggling to choose the top three. Okay. Can you tell me why you're struggling to choose the top three?
Well, because they all seem important.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
I know.
I'm not sure.
But let's think about the domino. Let's think about Pareto principle. Which of those, and just look at it, which of those goals can, if you just achieve the one, it'll also help the other. And I'll give you an example with myself, right? I realized that if I don't wake up early enough to have devotion, I prefer to have like 1 hour devotion where I read the Bible, I study, I pray, and I just focus or set my mind right for the day. I realize that I don't get to do Purpose Practitioners Club work. I start my 9 to 5 late. So for me, the priority would be my spiritual life, because I know that if I wake up early and I read the Bible and I pray, and so for me, having devotion is very important because it gives me the discipline of waking up early. Also, it just puts me in a good mood. I'm able to talk to God and really just lay out my day. So I see that achieving that or attaining that aim helps with my professional life and with my personal life because I've got more discipline. Also, if I wake up early, I realize that I can actually exercise. So it's great for me. So that one, I know that it can achieve or help me achieve the others. So it's not that I'll abandon the others, but I know that the one is an enabler for another. So maybe run me through some of your goals and let's see what we can condense as a top three. And you'll find that there's overlap between the others as well. So let's hear.
Well, yes, what you're saying is actually very true. I would say the first would be my spiritual life. So it would be commitment, regardless of the circumstance or the situation.
Yeah,
Because what I find myself doing is when everything is good, it's easy to spend time with God. It's easy to have
100%.
devotion. But then the moment there's obstacles, then all of a sudden my commitment also dies out.
Yeah.
So that's one goal that I really want to work on. Um, professionally, like you said, it's basically purpose to profession.
Yay.
Um, and personal would be overcoming social anxiety, as well as
Mm,
establishing my nail business. So
okay.
the reason why I find social anxiety a problem is that if I'm going to be doing business, I'm certainly going to have to overcome the social anxiety. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are some of them.
Okay. And then your financial relationships and health, if you don't mind sharing.
But financial would be to acquire assets with minimum debt, which means I should I should produce enough capital
Yeah.
to acquire assets without credit really, or
Yeah.
minimum
Yeah.
credit. And the second would be to pay off my student loan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then relationship would be marriage.
Okay.
Um,
If you like a thing, shut up and bring it. I love that. It's
I've been in a
okay.
yeah, so I've been in a relationship for 4 years. So now it's literally like marriage. And then
Time is up.
fitness would be to be um, health and fitness would be to have a well-toned body. So that's
Okay.
obviously for me the biggest challenge is eating right. The exercise is not really the problem, but eating right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to run quickly through yours and then we can refine them a bit. So your spiritual life, you said commitment. I want you to clearly, explicitly define what does commitment mean. So is it having devotion at 6
I'm Mama
every
busy,
day?
please. Out.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you, Annika.
Aww.
Okay, so what does commitment mean to you? Does it mean that whatever the situation at 6 o'clock you're going to be up? Just define that more, okay? And then the professional life and your what is it? Your personal life are interwoven. So I like that. purpose to profession right now, you're currently not employed. So it's great that you've actually got all the time. Well, I'm assuming that you're not doing anything else apart from your nail business, but you've got the time to really give the process the time and the energy that it needs and deserves. So your professional life will be the domino for your personal life. So in the event that your nail business becomes one channel through which to live out your purpose, that's great, because as you focus on your professional life, it enables your personal life. And then financial life, you mentioned that you want to acquire assets with minimum debt. We still need to be very specific in that area. What assets are we talking about? Are you talking about things that you will need for your salon? Because then what happens is, as you take care of your professional life, and which will take care of your personal life, you will be able to generate an income that will enable you to buy those assets without you acquiring debt. So maybe the financial life is a result or like a byproduct of your personal life, that business working well or being profitable. And for your relationships, then it is obviously you would like to get married, and maybe you need to, I'm assuming that you and your boyfriend are in a place where you can actually have these conversations, and you know what getting into marriage maybe within the next 12 months actually means and will require for you. Then that's great. You say you would like to be married maybe within the next 10 months. That's great. And health and fitness, a toned body. What does a toned body look like for you? Is it muscle, or is it like biceps, strong biceps and triceps? Is it like thinner thighs or thicker thighs? What does it look like? So we still need to be very, very specific, because as we set up the system, you'll realize that we are going to check off at every quarter, at every step, that okay, I am this close to my goal, this close to my goal. So I think from those 6, after having refined them, then you can say, okay, what are the 3 that are going to enable these other ones to happen? Maybe for your spiritual life, if your spiritual life is in order and you and your boyfriend can actually get into marital counseling or marriage counseling, then you don't really have to focus on the marriage more than you focus on your spiritual life. That will make sure that you transitioning from dating or courting to marriage is a successful transition. So I don't know if I've enabled you or helped you on really deciding which ones are your top 3, or which ones will help really make everything else better.
No, that really helped me a lot. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm grateful for that. And let's not leave Onika out of the conversation. Onika, do you perhaps want us to refine and break down your goals even further? Or have you decided on your top 3 and you're happy with that?
Yeah, my top 3, first is my spiritual life.
Yay.
I want to get more closer to God so that He can reveal my purpose for my life.
Great.
A few months ago, I realized that I need to wake up earlier to have time for myself with God. And I did it for a couple of days because my aim was to wake up at 5 o'clock, but it was so difficult. I did for 2 weeks, and then I took a break and I never went back. Yeah, but in those days that I did it, actually, I was so productive. I would have my me time with God, and then I would exercise.
Yeah.
And then by the time the kids woke up and I have to do online, whatever, teaching and whatever, those top things, things that fit me, are already done,
Yes.
so I can give all my attention to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to go back to those. I think I know what I need to do. It's just the habit that I need to build to get there.
Yeah.
And then the second one is my professional life. I'm currently a flight attendant, but I've been doing this for 12 years. So I'm looking to transition my career. I'm studying psychology.
Okay.
So that's what I want to get into. So career guidance and talent management and stuff. So
Oh,
I feel that's what I want to do. Like that's what I'm passionate about. But
yeah.
yeah, we'll see on this, that maybe I can get more clarity about what
Yeah.
I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then health and fitness, that's a journey. I'm busy with it. I'm trying to eat more healthier, exercise. I'm now turned vegetarian. So yeah, I'm seeing little results, but it's a journey, you know?
I know. Oh my goodness. I was vegetarian once upon a time. I think I need to go back vegetarian, but that's a story for another day. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Those are refined enough. I like that you've narrowed down to your top three. Now, let's get unpacking. I think the excitement now starts here. Okay. Now the excitement begins. Alrighty. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay, I'm going to use my particular example just so that you can see that I am actually also a big proponent of the system, and so you can see how I've applied it in my own goals or to my own life, at least for the next 12 months. Also, so that you know that I'm not speaking to you about something that I don't even do. All right, so here are my top three goals. The first one, in my professional space, it is to leave my job and work full-time in Purpose Practitioners Club. Okay, and then the second one, in my financial life, I want to be debt free. Oh my goodness, I want to be completely debt free. And then in my personal life, ooh, I actually want to enter the next Miss South Africa round. So that would be what, Miss SA 2021. So those are my three goals. And I want you to see how I have broken these down even further to help me know what success or know what like accomplishments will look like for me. Okay, but before we get there, here's some tools that I want you to apply almost every time, and I want us to think about them. But really, as you think about your goals, I want these to be the tools that help you along the way. Number one, are there any steps you could take right away that would significantly improve your situation? So with the goals that you've shared with me and your top three, what are some steps you could take right away that would help you significantly improve your situation? Secondly, which of your goals require assistance from other people and which ones are dependent entirely on you? And here, I want to break down this whole Miss Independence or Mr. Independence thing, because we do this so much. We believe that we will and we should achieve everything on our own. Some of your goals will require help. Like if you've tried for I don't know how many years to lose weight and it's never happened for you, maybe you need to start hiring a personal trainer, you know? So we need to think about which of your goals actually require assistance from other people and which of those goals are entirely dependent on you. So you can't pass them over to anybody else and you can't delegate because they require you and you alone. And then I want you to think, what obstacles have you faced in the past and how did you overcome them? So here I really want you to think, and I'm pretty sure, and Annika, you can attest to this. You said that it is a journey, meaning you've tried it before, you've done it before. So I want you to think, what are some obstacles you faced in the past and how did you overcome them? And also I want to add to this, if there are still obstacles and you haven't overcome them, then we need to think about what can you do about these obstacles in order for you to overcome them. So knowing the obstacles is really important for us because we know the kind of things that might pose threats to us achieving our certain goals. So what are some of the things you need to be really careful of or look out for as you progress? Sorry about that dog that's barking outside. It's driving me crazy. And then the last question or the last tool that I want you to put in your bag is, what mistakes have you made in the past and what did you learn from them? And whether you've learned from them or not, I want you to write down what the mistakes you've made in the past are so that we can correct those mistakes and we don't repeat them as we put out this new system, as we design a system that is meant to help us achieve our goals. Okay. So now let's get to designing the system. And how we're going to design our system is very, 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 very detailed. We are going to start from high level and we are going to granularize it so much that we'll leave no room for ambiguity or no room for, oh my goodness, I didn't consider that. So as we design the system, the first point or the first level or the first layer is your yearly yield. Now, what does a yield mean? Yield refers to the earnings generated and realized on an investment over a particular period of time. So what we want is a yield over the year. So think about, for the next 12 months, what do I want my yield to be? So I'm going to be investing my time, I'm going to be investing my activities, I'm going to be investing so much over this particular time. What do I want to get out of it? What do I want the yield to be? What is the bigger picture? And I've broken mine down like this. So professional, I said I want to leave my job and work full-time in Purpose Practitioners Club. So what does it mean for me? What, like really breaking it down, what does it mean? It means I need to at least have 3 to 6 months of my salary saved, or 3 to 6 months salary saved for when I leave, for those rainy days. Number 2, it means I need to grow my business because I'm not going to leave corporate if my business is struggling. I need to be very prudent about what it is that I'm doing. The third thing is I need to replace my monthly income with business revenue. So that's how I'll know that my business is stable enough, because I'm able to replace it or to duplicate what I'm currently earning as for my 9 to 5. And then I need to pitch brands I want to work with. So this is my yearly yield, right? The things I want to get out of this particular goal. Pitch brands I want to work with. And another one, the deadline, which is very important. I know you've heard about the SMART acronym, that your goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable. What is the R? Realistic, and the T is time-based. So the deadline for me is the end of 2020. It's still within the yearly period, but the end of 2020, I want to see these things happen. For my financial life, I said I want to be debt-free. So what does it mean? How much debt do I currently have? I have around 138K worth of debt, okay? And that's my car. The debt items is my car. So I will say that I'm debt free if I've paid off my car. That is how I've quantified my debt. So the deadline there is July 2021. And the reason for that is that I got my car 2 years ago on my birthday. And I took it for over a period of 6 years. Crazy. I can't believe I did that. Over a period of 6 years. So I want to actually pay my car in half the time. Next year, which is going to be the 3rd year, I want my debt on the car to be completely done with. So I want to do 36 months instead of 72 months. Okay, and for my personal life, I want to enter the next round of Miss South Africa. Now, I'm such a God girl in that I always ask myself, for whatever goal I have, or for whatever I want to achieve, I say, where in the Bible have I seen an account of this particular thing? And I want to see if it worked or didn't work. So if it didn't work in the Bible, why didn't it work? But if it did work, what made it so successful? And I saw actually an example of a beauty pageant, being successful with the story of Esther. And the reason, actually, maybe let me just highlight why I want to enter Miss South Africa. So I'm very clear on what my purpose is, right? It is to help young professionals who feel stuck in their careers to actually know what their purpose is and live out that purpose impactfully, fulfillingly, and sustainably. So I realized that really we have a high rate of unemployment in this country. And it's because a lot of people are trying to fit into a mold or into a design that was generically created. People aren't tapping into who they were created to be. So I believe that the more people tap into them, the more people tap into their heritage, the more freedom people will have to express themselves and to actually find joy in what they do. So I want to take the brand that is Purpose Practitioners Club beyond just my sphere of influence. I want to take it to a platform that is national and hopefully international. So it's really to grow this brand, but also to expand my impact and my purpose. So what I did do is that I read up on what did Esther do? What made her reign, or what prepared her for being a queen at that time or in those days? And I found that her training was actually broken into two, so it was 6 months on on particular things, and the other 6 months on particular things, which works for me, because if I can take these next 12 months to prepare, then I'll be good to go. So there was exercise, there was body and beauty treatment, there was court etiquette, there was use of perfumes and cosmetics. She was put on a special diet, and maybe I really do need to go back to being a vegetarian. So the deadline for me for this particular goal, and this is dependent on what the Miss SA organization decides to do, but normally it is May of every year. So my deadline basically is May. So in this time, I need to make sure that my exercise is on track, body and beauty treatments, etiquette, perfumes, and the special diets. And lucky for me, or lucky for the organization, is that they cover a lot of these, but I also just want to be prepared for myself. And also what I learned about Esther's successful reign is that she put the needs of others before her own. So I've already conditioned my mind that this just can't be about the perks of being a Miss South Africa, but what is the motive for it behind? What is the motive behind it for me? So this is how detailed I want you to get with each of your 3 goals. For whatever the category is, categorically state what it is you want to achieve and break it down. What does it mean to what does stepping into marriage mean? What does it mean for my finances? What does it mean for my spiritual life? What does it mean for this guy? Who needs to be involved? Really break it down like that. I want to transition careers. What does that really mean? One of those could be go through the next 3 months of purpose to profession. Great. But what do I do? And you will know the steps to follow as you continue with the program. But I want you to really break down what it means for you, piece by piece by piece, that you know what your yield will be from the investment that you put in. I hope everyone is still tracking. Now let's go a level deeper. Now I want you to think about what your quarterly quota will be. Your quarterly quota. A quota is a proportional part or share assigned to each in a division or to each member of a body. Now, I didn't want to belabor my goals and literally break them down, also because I want to keep something to myself. But I want you to say, how am I going to proportionately assign these goals to these quarters? So in the first quarter, and maybe not even first quarter of the year, but for 3 months out of the year, what am I going to focus on in this one quarter? For all 3 of these goals. So for me, it's my professional, my personal, and my what was the other one? My financial. So for the next 3 months, how do I want my finances to look? Or how much debt do I intend to slash to know that I've actually been successful? So am I going to break down, for me, because now it's September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I've literally got 11 more months. So that is 4 quarters, all 4 quarters really put into my goal. So in one quarter, how much of my debt will I do away with? In the second quarter, how much? The third quarter, how much? In the fourth quarter, how much? So how am I going to break down my goals such that they fit into the quarters? So for the Miss SA journey, how do I, for the beauty and body treatments, for exercise, what do I want to focus on in one quarter, in the next quarter, in the next quarter? So break down whatever your yearly yield is into different quarters, apportion it into the quarters, and proportionately share it or assign it to each of the quarters, so that it gives you a bit of a relief and you don't feel overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, all of this. But what is going to fall within the next 3 months, and in the 3 months after that, and in the 3 months after those 3 months, and in the final 3 months of your system. Okay, I hope we're still tracking. And then we're going to take it a layer lower. What are your monthly milestones going to be? A milestone is a significant stage or event in the development of something. And we are moving, we are slowly developing into what our goals are. So I want you to say, at the end of September, I will know that I have achieved success because this has happened in my financial life. This has happened in my spiritual life. This has happened in my relational life. I want you to say, every month, how are you going to measure success? And if the success in this case for health and fitness perhaps is losing 10 kg, and you've split that up into 4 quarters. So in one quarter, I want to lose 2.5. In the next quarter, I want to lose 2.5. So after every month, do you want to lose? And it makes the goal so much easier to attain when you just condense it and break it down into these different measures of time. So you realize that in one quarter, you really just want to lose 2.5 kgs. So in 1 month, you can literally get away with losing 1 kg, because you know that at the end of 3 months, you would have lost the 3. And at the end of the next 3 months, you would have lost 6. Oh my goodness, is this me? At the end of the next 3 months, it's 9 kgs gone. By the end of the system, all of them are gone. But I don't know what deadlines you have for your particular system. It could just be, I want to lose 10 kgs in 6 months. That's cool. It means at every quarter, you need to lose 3 kg. So each month, you lose 1 kg. That's essentially it. I want you to look at each quarter, and then within those quarters say, okay, so it's September, October, November. What do I want to achieve, or how will I know what milestone am I setting for each of these months? So break down your goals and determine how you will measure success every month. And remember, every month is a build up to the quarter, and every quarter a build up to the yearly goal. The system basically that we're designing is allowing us to eat this elephant bit by bit, so at the end we've eaten the whole elephant. And I want you to ask yourself today, how will I know that this month moved me closer to my goal? So essentially, as you set your milestone, how will you know that you have moved closer and closer and closer to your goal? And then we'll put another layer. Now it's a layer lower. What is going to be your weekly work? So work can be defined as an activity in which one exerts strength or faculties to do or perform something. So what activities are you going to engage in every week? Where are you going to exert your strength and exert your faculties to perform what you need to perform for your goals? And work can also be defined as an activity that a person engages in regularly. So what are you going to do regularly every week that is going to help you to achieve your success for the month? So a month rather is broken down into 4 weeks. So every week, what work are you going to put in every week to ensure that at the end of those 4 weeks, your monthly milestone is attained? And I just love this. You know, when you break down time, you actually realize how much of it we have and how much of it we can use to our advantage. So you don't just have 1 month, you've got 4 weeks. What work are you going to perform each of these 4 weeks to help you achieve the milestone for that month? And something that I do routinely as a Seventh-day Adventist is I use the system that God put in place from the very beginning. He says you work for 6 days, and on the 7th day, you rest. So basically, I have to condense all my work into 6 days, and then on the 7th day, I rest. So for me, Sunday to Friday is work, work, work. On the 7th day, it's everything's down. I don't touch any work. I rest to recharge for the 6 days ahead. So you can also use that particular weekly work system where you work for 6 and you put your head down on the 7th day. And something that I've noticed works brilliantly for me is because I'm resting, because I'm not worrying about things, and because I'm not hustling and running around and doing things, my mind is so relaxed that God actually gives me ideas for my work. So the 1 day of rest really recharges and refuels me and energizes me and equips me for the 6 days of work that I need to do. That could be something that you choose to institute or install for your own life. You can decide that for yourself, but I've seen that it works. And if God instituted it, remember, I always ask, where in the Bible have I seen such a thing? Where has it been successful, and what made it successful? And then we narrow it down even further. We are breaking it down. Your daily duty. Duty is a commitment or expectation to perform some action in general, or if certain circumstances arise. Now, I need us to break this down really well. So duty is a commitment. Hear me well, a commitment. So every day we are going to wake up and make a commitment to our goal, make a commitment to what we have said. I commit to being debt free. So I need to say, what will I do today that is going to contribute to my debt freedom? I commit today to enter and possibly win the Miss South Africa competition. So what will I do today that will help me achieve that goal? If I have to exercise, then that's the commitment I take for that day to help me in achieving what I said is important to me, what I said I value so much I'd be willing to sacrifice for, what I said I don't want to make a mistake in, what I said I want to be will make me proud or want to be proud of. I said that. It was my priority. So what am I committing to today to help me get to that goal? And another expression is the expectation. I wanted to know that we need to put this expectation on ourselves. It's from nobody else. We owe it to ourselves to expect ourselves to do well for our goals, right? And it says action in general, or if certain circumstances arise. So we also need to be the people that say, if this happens, then I will put this contingency in plan, which is very, very brilliant. We have to say, if, for example, I wake up and I have a bad headache in the morning and I can't exercise, I still have that hour extra. So do I sleep in or do I continue to do other things? Because if we sleep in, the truth is we are losing that hour. If we're losing that hour, if we very didn't have enough rest. So you can say, I'll do other things with this time that aren't going to need so much of my energy. But because I have still committed and I have this expectation on myself to exercise, I will use this 1 extra hour at the end of the day. So we need to have those contingency plans. So for your daily duties to be successful, you need to have a morning routine. You need to have a work cycle, and you need to have a recovery routine. Now, let me break these even further. So, morning routine. I read something interesting the other day. It said, use an hour in the morning and you will spend all day looking for it. I think Richard Wakely was spot on, or Watley, however you say his surname. You lose an hour in the morning and you will spend all day looking for it. So I would encourage, don't snooze the alarm, because those 5 minutes, 15 minutes become 1 hour. And if you lose that 1 hour in the morning, you will spend all day looking for it. Another thing is, have devotion to set the tone for the rest of your day. And whether your devotion is just prayer, or it's reading the Bible, or it's just meditating. And the Bible does encourage us to meditate day and night. Whether it's really just meditating, speaking to God about your thoughts, or reading a book, whether it's a Christian book or really just a book that instills valuable principles, reading that book, or if it is planning for your day, whatever it is, just set some time, devote some time for peace and quiet, preferably with God, and that will set the tone for the rest of your day. And also adopt a prayer strategy. On my podcast, Purpose Practitioners Club, I literally have a prayer strategy for 7 days. So from Sunday to Saturday, you can go on that podcast and look for the prayer strategy for each of the days. On Sundays, I pray for visions and plans. On Monday, I pray for work, because I am starting work. On Tuesday, I pray for my family. On Wednesday, I pray for my romantic relationship, whether I'm in a relationship or not. On Thursday, I pray for my friends. On Friday, I pray for everybody attached to my purpose. So as you're listening to this, as you're watching this, on Fridays, I am praying for you. On Saturday, I'm praying for rest because Saturday is my rest day. So I'm really praying that God instills the habits and culture of me resting well. But also, I just pray that I may rest well, So adopt a prayer strategy for yourself. And then I spoke about a work cycle. And here's what I mean by a work cycle. Okay, so the human body operates on cycles called ultradian rhythms. So according to research, during each of these cycles, there's a peak when we are most energized and a period when we are exhausted. So you are more active in the morning. I think a lot of people are more active in the morning because our bodies have rested and we've gotten all the hormones and every little thing that we need for our bodies to exert themselves well. And your brain can only focus for 90 to 30 minutes at a time. Did you know? 90 to 30 minutes at a time. Afterwards, a 20 to 30 minutes break is required for you to get the renewal to achieve high performance for your next task. Again, this is according to research. At first, I was like, this is a joke, until I did it myself. So for me personally, now I want to wake up an hour earlier, but how my work day is structured is that between 9 and half 10, that's my first cycle. So I work, 9 and half 10, I'm working. Half 10 to 11, I'm taking a break. Unplugging, recharging, renewing myself. That was half 10 to 11. 11 to half past 12, I'm working, because that's the 90 minutes for me. And then half past 12 to 1, I'm having my lunch. So literally, I realized that I have 4 work cycles in a day and maybe 3 breaks, I don't know, until I can recover for the day. So stretch out your day like that. Literally break it down into 90 to 120 minute cycles and set tasks for each of those cycles. So still remember what your priority goals are, what your system or the goals that your system constitutes of are, and then see in the cycles of your day, and whether it isn't just from 9 to half past 4, 9 to 5. If you choose to really map out your day from the time you begin to work or from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, do it like that. Really break down your day into cycles of intensive work, intensive focus, and then relax. Intensive focus and then relax. I've seen that I achieve so much because I tell myself for the next 90 minutes, no distractions. I'm doing my work and I'm focusing. After that, then I can check Instagram, then I can check the internet, but try that. I've seen it work for me tremendously. And then recovery. And this is something a lot of us don't do. We don't recover. So what Helen Nicholson, which is a lady whose program I was in some time back, says, stress is not the bad guy. A lack of recovery is. So people don't even know how to recover for the day. Your body doesn't even know, now we're done working. Your body doesn't know any of those things. So I want you to say or ask yourself, what time do you clock out? If you're going to be working the whole day, what time are you going to knock out? What time are you going to say, okay, I'm done for the day? And how will your body know that it's time to relax? I put there popcorn for me, because when my body sees popcorn, it's like, put on a movie, let's go. So how does your body, or how will your body know that it's time to relax? And honestly, having enough sleep to rest recharges you for the next day. The same Helen Nicholson once said, rest your way to the top. And I think a lot of us don't get to the top. We crash before we get to the top because we don't have enough energy to summit, because we don't rest. So prioritize rest. And the 90 to 120 minutes cycle I was talking about, it applies even in our sleep. So I know that doctors say between 6 and 8 hours of sleep is great, but honestly, a 6-hour rest is good because you have 4 cycles in there. And what else? Also, it's 6 hours or 7.5 hours or 9 hours, because those are the 90-minute cycles that your body performs in. So it's not just for work, it's also for rest. So relax, teach your body to rest. And that's essentially how our system is going to look. And at this point, I think I'm going to stop sharing and speak to you directly. And I know I've said a mouthful. I know I've been talking for a while, but that is essentially what we're going to do. Our system is going to constitute of a yearly yield, a quarterly quota, a monthly milestone, a weekly work, and daily duty. That's how we are going to create our system. That is going to be the system that helps you achieve your goals, breaking it down like that. So at this point, I'm going to unmute you, Anika. I see Joy has left. She's probably got something else to take care of. But at this point, I'm going to say, how are you feeling? Do you feel like this is something you can definitely do, and something that helps you break down your goals in a way that you can create a system to help you achieve those goals and have a strategy for those goals?
I must say, looking at all of this, I'm like, you're so detailed. I'm just so disorganized. I'm so last minute.
Last minute is not going to help us. Last minute is not going to help. I really think, I read a quote this other day, and the quote said, the reason the plan never works is because there was never a plan to begin with. And I think a lot of the times we don't hit our targets, we don't reach our goals because we never planned to reach them. It's just things in our minds or on a vision board. But literally, this system breaks it down so much that you can't miss reaching your goal, because every day is a build up to that. Every week is a build up to it. Every month is a build up to it. Every quarter is a build up. Literally everything you do is a build up to the life that you want to accomplish.
Yeah, I can see that, and how we can build healthy habits actually to achieving whatever you want to achieve.
Yep.
Yeah. It can work actually if I really put my mind to it.
100%. I really believe that it can as well. Joy, I saw you slip out for a bit. I don't know if it was your connection, but I hope you've caught the system.
Yes, I did catch the system. I'm just trying to remember the question I had. But you can keep talking. I'll remember just now.
Okay, I don't have a lot to say anymore. I feel like I've spoken my entire life out. But you can always drop the question for me and we can always go through it. But essentially, that's the system. I really believe that 3 goals, focused on them, and every day really thinking, what am I committing to today to get to that? And at the end of the week, how do I know that I've been successful? At the end of the month, yes, my milestone is reached. At the end of the quarter, yes, this is my quota for the quarter. And at the end of the year, we're just like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And I've gotten there because every step was towards this goal.
Yeah, let's do it. As challenging as it seems.
I think it will work out.
And yes, if you want change, if you want change, you have to make it happen, I guess.
100%.
So yeah.
100%. Also, the beautiful thing is we are here to keep each other accountable. And if it has to come to a point where I'm like, okay, this quarter, this is what I want to achieve, and you know that, and I know yours, and it's like, are you achieving? Are you doing what you need to do? So the beauty about having a system as well is that it can act as your accountability. You have something to measure against, or you have something to strive for, because it's right there in front of you. So I've recorded this and I'm going to put it on the website, and I hope it's not going to be a problem. And Joy, I think you were struggling to access the thingy. I'll just show you now how to change your password if that's something you want to do. But I don't know your password. You can literally maintain the one you have. You're the only person who knows it. But if you want to remember it and set another one, that's perfectly fine. I'll go to my website just now to help you change it. But that's essentially what the masterclass is. I will drop this video in there, and I will leave the presentation, so you don't have to listen to this entire thing. You can just check the points out for yourself. And in the absence of anything else, I think we can call it a night and meet again on Wednesday for kickoff. Do.
Thanks, Bumi.
Awesome.
This was very
Thank you.
enlightening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alrighty then, Joy, if you remember your question, please just drop it to me, send me a message, whatever. I'll also give you guys my numbers, so it's easy for us to communicate. All right.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. There's a lot of thinking that needs to be done. So I think that's why I lost my question.
Okay, no, that's perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
so-
And if you still need help, like really creating the system and making sure that it works, reach out to me as well. And I just really want to make sure that you are able to balance the program purpose to profession as well as every other area, and nothing falls through the cracks. So don't be shy to reach out to me and having a conversation around how you can optimize your system. All right.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
Mpumi.
Yebo.
So what's the best way to reach out to you? Via email, or
So here's
if
what
I've
I'll
got
do.
any questions?
Yeah, so here's what I'll do. The next email I'll send you, I'll drop my numbers. So you can have my numbers and WhatsApp me or call me or text me, whatever. I'm going to be as
Okay.
accessible to you as possible.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, good night, ladies.
Good night.
Good
Enjoy your
night,
week.
everyone.
See you on
Bye.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday it is.
Bye.